Hello, my name is Dr. Craig Childress. I'm a clinical psychologist in Pasadena, California, and I specialize in working with children with ADHD spectrum disorders, angry, oppositional children, relationship problems in the family, and parenting issues. And today I'm going to talk with you about parenting the strong-willed child. Now, in order to parent a strong-willed child, we need to understand that there's three basic approaches to parenting children. Typically, we've been only using the authority system, which essentially involves dominant submission networks that I can induce submissive behavior in a child through the application of punishments. And our approach to parenting has traditionally used primarily, if not only, that particular brain system. However, we've recently discovered in the last 20 years or so that there's two other very important brain systems in terms of child development that we should be incorporating into our parenting. The second system has to do with socially organized behavior. This involves the child's ability to read social cues, interpret what those social cues mean, emit social cues to other people in the group, and come up with a socially organized plan for how to fit their activity into the social context. The authority system uses discipline strategies of punishment to achieve obedience in children. The social organized behavior system uses guidance strategies to achieve cooperation. And really, that's what we want from our children. We don't want mere obedience. We want their cooperation, their participation in the goals of what we're trying to accomplish for their development. The third system has to do with psychological connection. This is an incredibly important system because it unlocks the other two. It has to do with feeling the motivations and the intentions of other people. And it allows us to go into a movie theater and feel what the actors feel in the movies. Now, in working with a strong-willed child, the difficulties that are faced typically have to do with problems in several different component brain systems. The first brain system I really want to look at and evaluate is the sensory motor processing system. That frequently, when a child has problems with sensory motor processing, what happens is they don't like change because it's hard for them to organize information, so they like things to be the same, and they have difficulty with transitions, and they have difficulty adjusting to change. And so they become very demanding about things being a certain way. And so the idea that the child is strong-willed is one of those flags I have in my head to really begin to take a look at sensory motor processing. Occupational therapists are the ones who evaluate this, and so I'd want to get a good occupational therapy evaluation. The second issue around strong-willed children is the functional integration of the emotion system into the communication system. That the difficulty the child is having, what's locking them up, is that they're not able to process their emotions into communication and into the relationship. And so their emotion system just sort of locks up and freezes up. And what we need to do is unlock that by bringing their emotions into communication. Now, here's a critical issue, though. Children will not talk to us if we don't listen. So the first step to unlocking that emotion into communication is to begin to listen to children. Okay? That involves dialogue. That involves that socially organized behavior system of social dialogue rather than the authority system of just do what I tell you to do. Can I induce submissive behavior through punishment? Of course I can. It's not going to be particularly helpful for the child. In fact, it's going to wind up with the strong-willed children getting big battles going forward. The secondary systems that are involved have to do with relationship and communication systems involved with these kids. And one of the approaches that can be very helpful for the strong-willed child, Gandhi had mentioned that the antidote is the opposite. So when you get strong-willed children, you want to become more relaxed and pleasant and help them kind of ease through it. If you meet strong-willed with strong-willed, that's a battle, okay? So you want to become more flexible, more dialogue, more communication with them. Some people will say, oh, I don't want to negotiate with children. I actually take a different approach. I do negotiate with children. That doesn't mean I give them what they want. That doesn't mean that I'm not the authority and that I don't communicate that I'm authority. But I think it's respectful human-to-human dialogue to communicate with one another, listen to other people, listen to their needs. My recommendations for working with a strong-willed child is to communicate authority. Absolutely, you're in charge of the universe as a parent, but to use the authority system lightly, to not over rely on punishments as a way of trying to teach or those sorts of things. a calm and confident communication of authority, and to rely instead on more dialogue, more guidance strategies, more relationship strategies, to adopt and maintain a positive emotional tone through dialogue and through communication. Angry breaks connection, positive emotional tone builds connection between people. Also, in working with strong-willed children, the brain gets kind of locked up, and so they need greater practice in kind of flexibly dealing with their emotions. So I'd want to give them that practice through what's called minor breach and repair sequences, where I do things that are a little bit off what they want me to do, and then they protest about that and say, oh, that didn't work for them, and then I dialogue, and then I adjust myself back into that, and we repair the relationship, okay? So those sorts of, their ability to struggle with something, experience frustration, bring that into communication and successfully resolve it. A minor breach and repair sequence off of that. And finally, my recommendation to parents working with a strong-willed child is, instead of looking at their behavior as a problem, I look at it as a therapeutic opportunity. When you bring your child into me for psychotherapy and I go into my office with them, they're well behaved, they're great kids, okay? I don't get the opportunity to work with them when I really want to work with them, is when they're having the struggles. When you're a parent out in the supermarket and they're having a meltdown or a tantrum, that's the point that is the vital point of working in the therapeutic opportunity. That's the point when you can help them bring their emotions into the communication systems. That's the point I'd like to be working at, but unfortunately I don't have those opportunities. So the degree that you can look at their difficulties, instead of being problems, as opportunities for growth and change, I think it'll help minimize your frustration in working with these kids. If you want more information about working with children, you can visit my website, and thank you very much.